Wonderful, we're live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful masterclass, self-care and self-healing for healers and aspiring healers. I'm really looking forward to this. Hi to everyone on the replay. Let me know how you're doing today. Let me know where you're joining from. And let me know what you're most excited to learn in this session. Exciting. I already see some of you are joining me here live. Please say hi to me. Let me know how you're doing today. Let me know how you're experiencing the start of this year. I'm already supposed to be in Bali. We were supposed to fly 2 weeks ago. And so I'm in between the worlds somehow in an apartment that is all but packed up. And hoping that we can fly soon. Things are a little bit strange in the world at the moment, but I'm trying to make the best of things. And so I thought I'm going to do a longer live session here with you today. This is a masterclass, which means it's longer than our usual sessions, and I'm going to share tons of amazing content with you. Hi, Liselot from Sweden. Welcome. Beautiful to have you here. Who else is here live with me? How are you doing today? Where are you joining me from? So this is the new time for our live sessions in here. I'm here with you on most weeks, on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. CET, which is going to be 9 p.m. my time in Bali. And I look forward to this masterclass with you. I'm really excited. This is amazing content that I haven't shared in a long time. So let's dive right in. I'm going to go over why your self-care and self-healing is the key to becoming a powerful healer, because it really is. And then we're going to go over the 10 most important self-care and self-healing facts. We're going to talk about self-care and self-healing, especially for all parts of who we are, for the body, what that means for the mind, and what that means for the heart and for the soul. And then I'm going to show you how you can schedule your practice daily, weekly, and monthly, and how you can stick to it with ease. And I also have a wonderful announcement to make for all those of you who haven't made it into the apprenticeship last year, which is really exciting. And this masterclass is really suitable for all those of you who already work as healers, and also for all those of you who are healers to be. I will dive right in, and if you have questions, just put them into the comments at any time while I talk, and I'm going to check them again and again to answer them. Of course, also for those of you who are on the replay. Hi, Chris. Wonderful to have you here as well. How are you today? Now, let's start with how self-care and self-healing are different and what they actually are. So self-care refers to shorter practices and healthy habits that we need to do daily or weekly to maintain our current state of health and happiness. And self-healing goes deeper. This is where we actually change something fundamental in our energy at the heart and soul level, so that we can up-level our current state of health, happiness, purpose, and prosperity. And this is usually done in sessions or rituals that we commit more time and energy to, and sometimes also more money to. And both self-care and self-healing we do for ourselves. That means we use our own time and energy, although we can, of course, use other people's guidance and materials for it. Good. Let's dive right in with why your self-care and self-healing is the key to becoming a powerful healer. Hello, Dims. Welcome. Now, right, when it comes to self-healing, what you haven't experienced, what you're not yet embodying, you don't have access to energetically, right? It's really as simple as that. So if you are trying to help someone heal, say so that they can finally let go of their ex while you yourself keep going back to yours, then your healing efforts won't be very powerful, right? You have to be there energetically so that you can help others who are on the same path, okay? That's why your self-healing is one of the keys to become a powerful healer. And when it comes to self-care, well, when you don't take great care of yourself, how will you have the energy to properly take care of your clients? you won't, especially not long term. You're gonna burn out. And there's another reason. Your self-care and your self-healing is how you grow. And that's how your work as a healer will evolve too, right? So as a healer or aspiring healer, your self-healing and self-care practice is sacred and it's non-negotiable. And apart from that fact that your personal practice is what grows your power as a healer, it's just also what makes you feel good about yourself. And and it helps so much and just helping you to enjoy this life. And that's the whole point of being here, right? That is absolutely part of your purpose. It's to enjoy who you are. And how can you do that when you don't take proper care of yourself? So let's dive in with the 10 most important facts about self-care and self-healing. I have tons of content to share, more than I can share here. So I'm gonna judge by your comments how much you're interested. So give me some fire wherever something is like spot on. Okay, so let me know if what I say resonates. Okay, so I'll know I'll go deeper with that subject for you. Now, the first self-care and self-healing fact is that self-care and self-healing is non-negotiable for healers and aspiring healers, especially for us. This brings us right back to what I said before. Self-care is what is needed to ensure our health and happiness, right? And without health and happiness, what is life worth, right? And if we if we don't take care of ourselves first, then how can we take care of others? So taking care of your body will make sure that you're more active, that you feel more alive. Taking care of your mind will make you happier and more relaxed. Taking care of your heart will create love and joy, and getting to know your soul will make sure that you actually live your purpose and embody your calling. So if we don't take care of our physical and mental health, if we ignore our heart's desires and soul purpose, then nothing will feel great and we will suffer, and so will those around us. And there's no chance we will develop the kind of magnetism it takes to attract clients. We simply won't have the energy, the peace of mind, the focus, or the power to really help them. And there are really so many things that we can't control in life. I think last year has really showed that to us. But we are in charge about how we take care of ourselves, right? So self-care and self-healing are a must for all of us. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if this makes sense. The second really important fact about self-care and self-healing is that we need to tailor our practice to our needs. We need to base our practice on what we truly need, not necessarily what we want, right? So everything we want, we want it because we think it will feel great. Think about it. Anything you want, it comes back to that, right? But it might not at all feel great. When our true needs are satisfied, that's actually when we feel great. So here's an example. I might want a romantic relationship, but if I go after it without exploring the need behind it, I might end up skin deep in drama, right? Because if my need is to feel loved, then I have to start giving myself that love before I can experience a fulfilling relationship. If I haven't learned how to love myself, then I will not be able to let someone else love me either, right? So what I actually need is not a new relationship, but a self-care practice for heart and soul, a self-healing practice, right? Depending on where I need healing from, maybe childhood wounds, past relationships, etc. So what I like to do when I want to connect to what I truly need, as opposed to what I want, is to flow out of my mind and into my heart, right? I have a meditation in this group for you. It's called Out of the Mind into the Heart. Many of you know it already, so feel free to use it for this purpose. Just type it into the search function and it will pop up for you. And obviously your needs are going to change, right? So make sure to regularly check in with yourself to see how your needs have changed and how you need to adapt your practice accordingly. The third self-care fact is that true self-care means taking full responsibility for our own well-being. And you'd think this was an easy one, but I see this time and again with women of all ages, and men, of course, even more, but I only work with women, that we're not taking full responsibility. So others can help us so much on our path, right? But they can only truly serve us if we have first taken full responsibility for our own well-being. If we're still stuck in childhood with part of our being feeling that others are responsible, then we will demand of others what they cannot give us, right? We will blame them for our misfortunes. We will feel disempowered and angry and frustrated and like a victim. Now, instead, we have to realize that we are responsible for our life experience. It doesn't mean we're responsible for everything that happens to us or around us, not at all. Life is complex and we are all interconnected. But it does mean that we are responsible for how we react to what happens and how we choose to feel. So it's time to stop making excuses and start doing the work. And often that's difficult if we haven't worked on our inner child wounds yet, which is why I work on that to some degree with all of my clients. Good. Hi, Renata. Lovely to have you. Exactly. Chris says, makes sense. Can't help others if we don't love ourselves. Exactly. Big wisdom. It is about what we need and not what we want. Exactly. You're so welcome. Now, the fourth fact, right, is that there is always enough time for self-care. I don't know, I don't know how many times I've heard this, I don't have enough time, but it's an excuse, it's not real. It's a way of saying I'm not worthy of my love and attention, I'm not worthy of my own time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, and yet some of us manage to get done so much. I know mothers of 5 who do one of my full programs. They have a full-time job even, it works, right? And you know, they still find time for relaxation and self-care, and then others don't, right? So most of us who say I don't have the time, they are caught in a circle of frantic thinking that leads to frantic action, and that is just self-made busyness, right? It's not real. And I know it's hard to see when you're stuck in that wheel, but the truth is that, you know, not taking great care of ourselves is going to take away all of our time, because if we do that for too long, we end up getting sick. And then all the time in the world is worth nothing. And that's where we are going to be if we don't start taking real care of ourselves, body, mind, heart, and soul. So being well on all levels actually saves time. I mean, how much more efficiently can you do things when your body's well, when your mind is calm? And how much better is it going to feel when your heart is joyful and you're connected to your soul's purpose, right? So does all of this make sense so far? Any questions about these first 4 facts about self-care and self-healing? The key often to you know, experiencing that we have more time is just to decide that we're going to take time. It's just a decision, it takes most of the time. It's stopping to run away from what we're scared for, what we're scared of, looking at. Now, the 5th fact is that there's always enough money for self-care and self-healing. Money is just energy. So if we decide that we are worthy of our own time and love and attention and follow our purpose, our calling, I mean, that's when money too starts to flow abundantly. And apart from that, so many self-care practices are completely free, right? You can also start this way. I mean, a walk in nature is, breathing consciously is, visualizing your dreams is. But of course, I mean, it's also a fact that most fundamental changes do require a real investment. It's how you dedicate yourself to something effectively, because where money flows, attention flows, right? And only if you really commit to something will it really work out. Some people manage to commit to something that came cheap, but most people don't. So I hope you see what I mean here. Like if a self-help or healing resource costs $50 and it's a one-time payment, you might be motivated as hell for a week and then you might forget all about it. Like think of all the DIY courses that you own. How many have you actually dedicated all your time and energy into? I know I have so many that I don't use at all. And you know, that's obvious because you don't expect a big change from that investment, right? On the other hand, if you invest, say, $500, euros, pounds, whatever it is, every month into something, will you show up on the mat consistently? I know you will, because you're expecting something big of yourself, right? And that's when you actually start to see results. So there's always a way to invest in yourself, okay? If you really want to, you just have to decide that there is. I mean, there's so many possibilities. You can work more, you can ask for a raise, you can borrow some money, you can do an exchange of services with someone, you can ask for an extended payment plan. You can simply be more open to receiving money, working with your root chakra. I mean, there's endless options, right? But only if you're ready to embrace them. And this is really one of the biggest mistakes I see people making, which is why I'm stressing this, telling themselves that they can't invest. But often the truth is that what they really can't afford is not to invest, because then they stay stuck, and that ends up costing them so much more time, energy, and money ultimately. So it's just a trap that you're creating for yourself. And often it just takes simply working on your self-love and self-worth before you can actually see yourself as being able of investing in yourself. Let me know if you have questions about anything that we cover at any time. I'm happy to stop and answer them. Chris is saying, so true, because for many years I was sick. The last couple of months taking care of myself has made lots of difference in my heart and soul. I know, I'm so proud of you, Chris. You're in the apprenticeship and you're doing amazing. It's just such a delight every week to hear you share about everything that's falling into place for you. Good. Self-care fact number 6. You have to be the center of your life. You are the most important person in your life. It's not your partner, it's not even your children. Especially for us mothers, it is really important to remember that an empty well cannot give water. When you start to live for yourself and not for someone else, not for something else, that's when your relationships will be enriched too, right? That's the foundation for your career. So prioritize your self-care and self-healing, because they are the foundations for your career as a healer, and they're also the foundations for your health and happiness in relationships, right? 7th self-care and self-healing fact is that you must schedule your practice. For your self-care to become a natural, enjoyable part of your day, you have to start to schedule it with the same priority you would give a business meeting. And the same is true for self-healing. You need to carve time out for it and to prioritize it, or it will never happen. And I will show you how to do that later. Now, the 8th self-care fact is that self-care and self-healing needs to be balanced, right? If you do a 4-hour hike every day, that's probably not an expression of self-love, right? You're probably running away from something. I love Bikram yoga, for example, but I know that if I would do it every day, that just wouldn't be a balanced way of taking care of myself, because this gentle element would, the rest, it would be completely missing. And also with shamanic healing journeys, right? It would be totally overwhelming to do a soul retrieval session once a week, right? It's more than enough to do that kind of big healing session once a month, and then be gentle with yourself and keep paying attention to what is working within you before moving on to the next thing. We don't want our self-care and self-healing to be just another addiction or distraction. I see this happen with many spiritual women. We want it to really serve us, right? Good. 9th self-care and self-healing fact is that there are limits to what self-care and self-healing can do. Sometimes we're dealing with things that, like extreme anxiety or depression or chronic pain, and then we must recognize that we need to reach out for someone to help. Doesn't mean we can't do something for ourselves also, of course we can, but often the most loving thing we can do for ourselves is get additional help. And even when we are, physically and psychologically sound, we still need someone else to hold space for us sometimes. All of us do, and especially us healers. It's so hard for us most of the time to acknowledge that we need help, but it is so, so, so important. It can be really overwhelming to hold space for so many others constantly. So we need to make sure that someone else is taking care of us. That's why we're not alone on this planet, right? So we can all take care of each other. Now, for example, I never do big healing sessions on myself. I sometimes do rituals, which are really important for me to do by myself. But the big healing sessions where I'm working on a specific issue, I let Barbie work on that for me. And that's not just relaxing, but it's also more effective, since I can fully open myself to receive the healing without needing to hold the energy for the healing process. Okay, so very important. And the 10th and last really important self-care and self-healing fact is that accepting where you are right now is the key to transformation. Might sound like a paradox, but it actually really isn't. If you keep honking on about how things are not great right now, they will stay the same or get worse. So the first step in any transformational process is to accept where we are right now, accept ourselves the way we are right now, and then take aligned action. And only once we do that, things will start to shift. We need this acceptance first. Good, that was the first part of this masterclass. Any questions or comments about these 10 most important self-care and self-healing facts? Oops, here we are. Charlotte, welcome. So lovely to see you here. You're saying you are fantastic at holding space for other women, Lilith. Oh, thank you. And so is your wonderful pack of fantastic fellow healers in your group. Yes, the apprenticeship is just, it's like, I don't even have words for it. We are such an amazing group of women. Love you all so, so, so much. Of course, self-care and self-healing becomes a lot easier when you have others at your side who are on the same path and who can lovingly hold you accountable. We'll talk a bit more about that later. Good, so let's move on to the second part. Self-care and self-healing for body, mind, heart, and soul, right? We want to take care of all of who we are. Now let's start with the body. Now here I could talk forever about this. We're going to try to shorten my notes here a little bit because it's just too much to take in at once, I think. I mean, before I started working with healers, I was really, I was a self-care expert. That's really what I did for a long time. So our body goals obviously are physical health, right? That is mobility, flexibility, strength, and vitality, and also loving our bodies, loving to be within our bodies and experiencing joy through our bodies. And to get there, we need to consider a lot of areas, right? We need to consider healing, that is restoring health where it isn't yet. We need to consider movement. We need to consider our breath, our sleep, food and drink, cleansing, body care, loving our body, loving touch, and pleasure. So those are a lot of areas. Let me know which one you're most excited to talk about because I can't go into depth for all of them. I start with healing the body. With healing the body, because this is one of the most important ones, right? Because here, I mean, the body is just a mirror for what's going on another level, right? So instead of trying to doctor, around, it's a lot better to go deeper and finding out what is our body telling us. What is the message of whatever is coming up physically, whatever symptoms are coming up. They're just symptoms, right? They're not the source. So if we want to heal, of course, we often need to address the body as well, right? We might need to put a cream on or get an operation, but that's not going to be the end of it if we don't go deeper to the level where this was created in the first place, right? To our thoughts, to our feelings, to our soul. Okay? So we do need to address all physical issues on those levels too. Otherwise, we're just going to find ourselves facing the same problem or another one soon enough. I don't know if I went through the cycle like 10 years ago where I had one health issue after the next. Like first it was a rash somewhere, then I had an ear infection. It just went on with weird things one after the other. It was just always the same thing that came back with the same message, and I finally understood it at the end, right? And that's when there was a stop to it. So, the only thing that our body really needs to heal is our attention on the soul level issue, on the deepest issue, on the core issue, which is what a shaman can help you to find and heal. And as my apprentice, you are learning how to do this for yourself as well. Good. Healing. Good. I'm glad I covered that. Cleansing is what Renata is most interested in. Hi, Kim. Welcome. So happy to see you here as well. You're saying, I agree, Charlotte. Lilith, your voice and words have a way of cutting through my nonsense. You speak directly to my soul. Oh, thank you so much. It's wonderful to hear that. Now, when it comes to movement, I mean, obviously you need to find a holistic movement practice, right? One where you can really feel into what your body needs in terms of movement. There's so much stagnant energy that keeps being stuck in the body if we don't move it consciously, right? My go-to practice is obviously yoga, shamanic yoga, the way that I teach asana. But of course, you can also consider sacred dances, Tai Chi, Qigong, whatever it is, right? Choose something that you love, that makes you feel alive, makes you feel good about being in your body. When it comes to breath, the breath, I mean, it's such a vital part of living, one of the most vital one, right? I mean, we need to breathe and our heart needs to beat. That's pretty much what it means to be alive, right? But we pay it so little attention, right? So I find that having a regular breathing practice can really increase your awareness of also how you breathe during the day. Yogic breath work is called pranayama, and it's really an amazing way to cultivate awareness and learn how to breathe more deeply and fully. There's this theory that how long we live is determined by how slowly we breathe. And it makes a lot of sense when you look at the lives of animals and their lifespan, like turtles, elephants, the types of animals that live a long life, they breathe very slowly. And the types of animals that die very soon, they breathe very quickly. Like think of dogs and bunnies, mice, right? Breathe very fast. So pranayama is really a vital part of what I teach. It's probably my favorite yogic practice because you can change how you feel so quickly if you have an amazing breathing practice. And I've created shamanic pranayama as part of shamanic yoga, and I've added the shamanic element to make it even more powerful in facilitating change. Sleep. Right? I mean, it's only when I became a mother that I first realized how much of a difference it actually makes to sleep well or to not sleep well. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about here. Now, obviously, so many things you can do to optimize your sleep, right? Go to bed at a regular time, go to bed earlier, don't eat a huge meal before going to bed, don't go to bed right after being in front of the screen or doing any intense mental work. Meditate before you go to sleep, right? I have a wonderful sleep meditation that I give to my clients, which is just beautiful. I love doing shamanic journeying before I fall asleep as well, not as a deep healing practice, but as a daily check-in with myself practice, processing the day, you know, so that when I fall asleep, my unconscious doesn't have to process the day during weird dreams. Obviously, a quality mattress is also really important, etc., etc. Good. When it comes to the food we eat and what we drink, obviously drink as much water as you can, replace your coffee with something else. And my go-to is mate tea. Yerba mate, it's the most amazing thing. It works like coffee, only that it's much healthier. What I recommend when it comes to looking into, what you should eat, how you should eat, you should go less for how much you enjoy the food, because that often comes from cravings, that often comes from different needs that are unfulfilled that actually don't have anything to do with food, but in general, how we nourish ourselves. But go for how it feels in your body. Like, I love Italian food. I love pizza, I love pasta, but I don't feel good once I've eaten that food, right? I really don't. So I still love Italian. I still cook a lot of Italian food myself as well. But what I do now is I've switched to, for example, I've switched wheat pasta to sweet corn or rice pasta, and I eat more slowly. I chew better, and I also eat smaller portions. That really, really helps, right? And I also love replacing one meal a day with a green smoothie. I love eating salads or soups in the evening, something light. It's really different for all of us, but the key is to observe yourself and what your needs actually are, and then start to give that to yourself. And obviously, like I said, food is a hugely emotional topic. So when we realize that we eat too much or too fatty or too sugary, that's because we want to compensate for an emotional need. It's not a physical need. So we need to get more intimate with that and start giving what we need to ourselves in a healthy way. So this comes back to a deeper healing practice, right? Good. And eat less in general. Most of us, we eat too much, unless you have an eating disorder, obviously. But like, I love having only 2 solid meals a day and small portions. And on the days I actually manage to follow through, I feel a lot better. I have a lot more energy. Good, let me check your comments. I practice pranayama daily, huge difference. Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. I love your shamanic yoga, says Renata. So happy to hear that. It is pretty amazing. I'm trying to heal an illness that I can't even pronounce. Don't know how to do it, especially understanding what it tries to tell me. Well, I don't know what that illness is, Elena, but I really recommend going to see a healer for this, to really go to the soul level of it, to find out what the soul core, what the real issue is. Now, cleansing, right? It's hugely underrated. Like this is how I start my day. The first thing I do is I go into the bathroom and I cleanse my nasal passages every single day. Even when I travel, I always find a way to do it. Doing a practice called Jala Neti. It's a yoga cleansing practice where you cleanse the nasal passages with salt water. I would never want to live without that again. I haven't had a cold in years, I think, by now. It's just pretty amazing. And I think it is, I'm pretty sure it is this practice, because it just, any bacteria that's there, you just get rid of it every morning, right? So especially now in times of this weird virus, it's a really good practice to adopt. I have a video on my YouTube channel where I show you how to do that if you're interested in learning it. Now, fasting is another really wonderful option to cleanse. I will include the option to fast with me in my upcoming retreat, the Goddess Initiation, which I really look forward to, starting in 5 weeks. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it later. And fasting does not only help our bodies to function at optimum level, but it also helps us to let go of things that we've been carrying around with us that don't serve us anymore, like, unhelpful negative thought patterns or destructive emotional patterns, right? And after fasting, it's also a lot easier to transform your eating habits into something that's more supportive. And then, of course, we could go on talking about the body care, right? All of the products you use, shampoo, creams, deodorant, everything that you put on your skin, it is in your bloodstream, very, very fast, right? It's almost the same thing as eating it, which is why the products that I use are food certified. Okay, so look for food certified products when you go shopping next time. Loving your body, so important. How do you think about your body? How do you talk about your body? Are you grateful for everything that your body does for you every day? I mean, it is so amazing. Okay, there's a lot of ways to increase the love that you have for your body, and I find that often our health issues, whatever is going on with our body, or if we just give our bodies a little bit more love, often that goes a huge way in clearing up whatever is going on. I have created an amazing body love meditation for my clients. So go with whatever feels good for you. You can write down what you love about your body, put it on your mirror, etc., etc. And the last thing I want to say about the body is how important loving touch and pleasure is. Our bodies need love through touch as well. Okay, we need to be held and stroked and physically cherished and experience pleasure through our bodies. That's one of the biggest delights of this human experience, right? I mean, why be incarnated if not for that? So loving touch we can experience with our partners, but also with our children and friends. It's so important to hug and cuddle. And I know that this year with the isolation, this is something that many of us are lacking big time at the moment. But the great thing is that we can give this to ourselves as well. So we can hug ourselves, we can stroke ourselves, we can touch our body during our daily tasks. It can really make a huge difference to our well-being. And of course, then there is sexual pleasure, and it's amazing if we have a partner to experience that with, but it's also amazing to experience it alone. Even when you have a partner, it's so great if you can give yourself pleasure too. It's a whole different experience, and it's just a really important part of healing from sexual trauma as well, which I know we've all experienced to some degree. And of course, also great for self-discovery, which means that you're actually going to know what you want from a partner. Good, that's all I wanted to say about the body, apart from an important side note. What we need to keep in mind is that the body is where our thoughts and feelings have already manifested. So we will not be able to completely transform our physical issues before we have not gone all the way to the soul level, right? Which we can do with the help of shamanic journey. Good, before we move on with the mind, let me just check the comments. Okay, it's a gum disease, inflammation in the gums. Oh, yeah. I find that everything to do with the mouth has a lot to do with expression, expressing yourself. So maybe this is a starting point for you there, Elena. Looking forward to your Dark Goddess retreat. Might not be what I want, but I feel it is exactly what I need. I feel it will empower me. I know a journey to the Dark Goddess is something that many of us are scared of, but it is actually the most amazing way to grow with grace. Because the thing is that as women, we make that cyclic journey anyway. We go from light into darkness, we go from life to death, right? This is from summer to winter. This is a natural cycle that we go through in our lives, from feeling amazing on the new moon to feeling down on the full moon. Like, this is just this kind of cycle, and we go through it anyways. And in the Dark Goddess retreat, in the Goddess initiation, I'm going to really show you how you can make that journey voluntarily, which means it's going to be less dramatic. So it actually leads to you experiencing less drama in life and more of what you actually want to experience. And it will just, get you to that next level of purpose and personal power, and also prosperity in your life as you start to embody your own inner goddess. So it will be fantastic. I really look forward to it. Okay, the mind. Now, obviously, we need to know how to silence our minds at will. This is so important. And I remember how difficult it was for me to do this, which is why I've created shamanic meditations, because with classical meditation, it was just never possible for me. Our minds really need to be a tool for focused thinking and not the driver of our being, right? Because that's where all the stress is coming from in our life. Frantic thinking leads to frantic action, and that creates overwhelm and unhappiness. And, it's because we're not aligned with our heart's desires and soul's purpose. We're afraid of looking somewhere where we actually should. It's fear-based and doesn't serve us. So our goal is really to silence the mind so we don't continuously have this chattering going on, which also takes up so much of our energy. I'm teaching a practice called shamanic listening in one of my other trainings, so feel free to look it up with the help of the search function. It's amazing in helping you to silence your mind within seconds. Positive thinking, the other really important part in taking care of our minds. If we keep thinking negative things about ourselves and the world, this is what's going to show up in our reality, right? So the first step is to become aware of our thoughts, realize that we are thinking, and then just letting those thoughts go, not feeling guilty or being angry with ourselves, but on the contrary, being gentle and letting these thoughts go again and again. And there are so many different practices that can help us with that, from practicing mindfulness to breathing practices to meditation. One that I love doing is whenever I feel like I'm thinking and it's not helpful, I focus my energy on my third eye. Like, even as I have my eyes open as I go through life, it is just a focal point. Or on your heart, of course. This is also a really nice focal point. And then you just stop thinking. Obviously, it takes practice, so practice. Now, moving on to the heart. And do let me know if you have questions about what we've covered, about the body, about the mind so far. Now, when it comes to the heart, the first step here is really 3 steps. We go from, first of all, activating the heart space, to emotional healing, to living from the heart. So most of us have a thick wall around our hearts that numb our feelings, so we cannot fully feel what we experience. And this is a safety mechanism that we have unconsciously put in place to protect ourselves. So the first step is really to gently open up that wall again, which we can do with heart awareness practices, like out of the mind into the heart, and also heart opening practices. For example, camel pose, right? So that we can process and heal. And that's the next step, emotional healing. This is about learning to feel what is, to give in to our feelings as they arise in the moment. It's making peace with our feelings and realizing they are our friends. Our feelings are our friends, right? When feelings come up, try to not distract yourself and vent your feelings, but really feel what is. Make it a habit to stop in your tracks when you have intense feelings coming up. Sit down, just breathe with what is. This is the most powerful way to realize that your feelings are here for you. And if you find that hard in the moment because you get overwhelmed by your feelings, then sit down later. Feel yourself back into the situation, okay? This way you will still be able to process your feelings. And then it's time for the next step, right? Living from the heart. Once we feel comfortable doing this on a daily basis, we are ready to live from the heart, take decisions from the heart, talk from the heart, act from the heart. And I do this by really practicing to flow out of my mind and into my heart again and again throughout the day. Once you have practiced this with my meditation, then you can do it wherever you are in all kinds of situations within a matter of seconds, right? Breathing in to gather your essence in your mind, breathing out to let it flow down into your heart. It's magic, and it's so much more fulfilling than being caught inside our heads. Good. We're ready to move on to the soul level. Any questions about anything we've covered so far? Anything you want to share? I know I'm covering a lot. I'm speaking fast, so don't hesitate to interrupt me. I just want to give you a lot of good stuff here. On the soul level, obviously, it is all about being at peace with all of who we are. The soul is what holds it all together, right? All the parts of who we are. And often it takes working on the body and the mind and the heart first before we can even access this sacred center of ourselves, the eternal part of who we are. And our goals really here are, first of all, accessing our inner knowing, right? It's the knowing that we are all one, knowing that all is well and always has been and always will be, understanding that we are eternal, making peace with death, right? This is the kind of inner knowing that we are born with, but then we forget because we're told otherwise. And we have to then rediscover that, right? And shamanic journeys is really the most powerful and magical way of finding back to that inner knowing and peace. So if you haven't studied it yet, I really highly recommend it. It's probably going to be the most worthwhile skill you're ever going to learn. My apprentices who are here, let me know if you agree with this. Because it's the basis for everything, right? Everything in our universe is energy, and shamanic journeying enables you to understand that, to understand the energy of everything that is. So you can much more consciously interact with everything and much more consciously create your life. Now, another thing when it comes to the soul is that we split part of our soul during traumatic events in our childhood and even later in life in intense friendships and especially with romantic partners. We exchange soul parts. And that serves a purpose in the moment, obviously. Sometimes it's even life-saving. As children, we either do it because the trauma is too much for us to digest, and we would otherwise have to split the mind. And that's when we have phenomena like schizophrenia coming up. Or we do it to help our parents, to give them part of our soul because they are ill on some level of their being, or they don't have enough strength. Now, as adults, we often have a desire to save our partners, and we do the same thing, right? But in the long term, it doesn't serve anybody. We need to find back to our wholeness and giving back all the soul parts that we have acquired in our lifetime and receiving back the ones that we have given away. And that's the kind of practice that does not fall under the category of self-healing anymore. This is a process that we need a shaman for. So if you're one of my apprentices, I teach you how to retrieve soul parts from this lifetime yourself. But if it's from past lifetimes, then you also need to have someone else work on you. I offer a shamanic healing and therapy package where I do this most sacred work for you. And of course, you can also learn how to do this for other people in the apprenticeship. And then, of course, when it comes to the soul, the other thing that is what the soul level is all about is living our purpose, right? Why are we here? What is it that really fulfills us? It's understanding our soul journey and the unique gifts that we have that we're meant to share with others. Everyone has a calling. Everyone is unique and meant to share that unique beauty and power with the world. And when we do that strategically, it creates an income for us. And that's also what I help you with in the Shamanic Yoga Apprenticeship, to advance your self-care and self-healing to a whole new level. And with that foundation, you train as a shamanic healer, and then you create your soulful, successful healing business with me at your side. I'm going to tell you more about it in a moment. So now that we are clear on what each level of our being needs for optimal health and happiness, it's all about seeing where we are at with each part and what needs to change, and then to establish a regular self-care and self-healing practice. And I want to show you how to do that now. Let's talk about how you can schedule your practice daily, weekly, and monthly, and also how you can stick to it with ease. Let me check the comments first. I obviously agree. Right, Charlotte? Shamanic journeying is the best thing ever. Chris, yes, it really does work. The breathing, and it literally changed my life. Yeah, it's so important. Teaching my children and grandchildren too. That's amazing. I love that. Now, what you really, really want to have, the most important piece of it all, is one short and sweet daily self-care practice. 10 minutes is already a great start. Then you want to have a weekly practice, like a 60-minute asana workout. Then you want to have a monthly highlight, right? Like a massage or a weekend in nature, and then a monthly healing practice where you go deeper with whatever is going on in your life. So the first one, a short and sweet daily practice. You can start with a practice that's only 10 minutes a day. Okay, so you could do a balancing breathing practice to start the day with, or a soothing breathing practice to end the day with, right? Or a meditation, or whatever it is, right? Whatever you need in the morning. Like for me in the morning, I do my cleansing first, and then I come to my yoga mat and I move for 10 minutes in whatever way my body wants to. And then I sit with myself. I sit just in silence. That's really important for me in the mornings. And I do my shamanic journey in the evenings. And then I also often do more yoga during the day. But my practice is already, it's quite elaborate. I didn't start this way, especially when my son was newborn, right? I was happy if I got those 10 minutes in. So if that's you, that's fine. Just start with 10 minutes. Now, what you also need, what I just said, is a weekly or bi-weekly body-centered practice, okay? If you're choosing a daily practice that is not conscious movement, then you need to schedule a longer practice for your body, once or twice a week. And then you need a monthly or a bi-monthly healing practice. Now, in the apprenticeship, we have the new moon and the full moon rituals that really help us with our processes of letting go what no longer serves us and welcoming what we want to experience instead. And I really recommend that everyone adopt this kind of practice, because this is how you consciously create your life. This is how you manifest successfully. And of course, in the apprenticeship, we also undergo shamanic journeys, like inner child healing, shadow integrations, you name it. What I also really recommend you schedule for yourself is a monthly treat, right? We don't want to forget the fun and the pleasure and the joy in life, right? So for me, my monthly treat is usually a massage. This year it's been quite difficult. Sometimes when it wasn't lockdown, I managed to get one. But what I also absolutely love is trips into nature. Went sledging with my son the other day, which was amazing. But we want to try to find something where you are alone, which is really a treat for yourself, because this is about self-care and self-healing, right? Horseback riding is something I absolutely love. So whatever feels super pampering for you counts. Maybe you want to take a 2-hour bath. I do that every second day, but like if you start with a monthly treat, that's already great. Now, what do you need to do to actually stick to your practice? There's 2 things that work like nothing else. Let me just check your comments first. Renata, so clarifying, the part about the soul split was new information for me. Yes, Renata, you're still in the first part of the apprenticeship, and in the second part, which is the shamanic training, I dive really, really deep into soul retrievals and why we split souls in the first place and all of that. So what you need to do to be able to stick to your practice with ease is, first of all, to schedule your daily, weekly, and monthly practices into your calendar. And then you need to treat them with the same seriousness that you would a business meeting with a mentor that you really admire, right? It's time to make yourself the priority in your life. And from that self-dedication, your personal power will grow so that you can fully step into your calling as a healer. This is so important. what really helps to actually stick to this schedule is to have someone else to lovingly hold you accountable, right? I have, with my best friend, we have a Telegram group where we always post about our current projects that we want to be held accountable with. And it's just an amazing way to really, make sure that stuff actually happens. And we have a supporting sister scheme right here in this group. So if you don't have a supporting sister here yet, just reach out. Write a little post letting everyone know about your self-care and self-healing intentions, then ask for a supporting sister. And those who feel aligned can reach out to you, and then you can check in with each other. The role of a supporting sister is not to push you, it's to gently remember you of your own intentions. And this makes self-care and self-healing a lot easier and also more fun. And you can even schedule to practice at the same time, and you can check in with each other regularly and celebrate your successes too. And this is also how real friendships are created. And I know that many of us are looking for community even more at the moment with all the lockdowns and stuff. So make use of this opportunity that you have so many amazing women to connect with in the circle. And obviously, if you're in the apprenticeship, you don't have a supporting sister yet, choose someone from your own circle who started at the same time so you can go through the apprenticeship together. And once you know what you need and you have created a schedule, the only other thing that you need are the actual practices, right? So you want to make sure that whatever practice you use for your self-care and self-healing makes sense energetically, because not all practices out there actually do. They might actually confuse your energetic system. Sometimes when I buy stuff, I use it and I'm like, really? Like, this makes no sense. And of course, you also want them to be powerful and also enjoyable, right? So that you can actually see results fast and you will actually look forward to your practice. Now, in the Shamanic Yoga Transformation, which is the first part of the apprenticeship, it's my high-level shamanic training with holistic business coaching, you get all set with lots of different practices for body, mind, heart, and soul that you will explore during the first 10 weeks. Right? You have shamanic meditations, breathing practices, asana, it's all there. So you can take great care of yourself with ease. And the transformation is really designed to accelerate your healing journey while you learn shamanic journeying, so that you have the perfect foundation for your training as a healer and creating your soulful healing business. Because like I said, you cannot become a powerful healer with a profitable business, truly serving others, if your daily practice is not taking care of all of your needs, body, mind, heart, and soul, and your self-healing is lacking focus or depth, okay? So this is really important. So what you get in the transformation, the first foundational part of the apprenticeship, is 10 weeks of done-for-you self-care and self-healing practices for body, mind, heart, and soul, and an easy done-for-you schedule to follow that fits into every life. I originally designed this for mothers, right? So it really, really works for everyone. And the audio and video material is all pre-recorded, so you can enjoy it at your leisure. So here you have, you go all the way from increasing your self-love and your confidence to healing your inner childhood wounds, to focusing on your womanhood with the feminine archetypes, to learning shamanic journeying safely and step by step, so that you can be reunited with your spirit team in the shamanic realm, so that you can receive clear guidance and healing from within at any moment for the rest of your life. It's pretty amazing, right? And of course, we have weekly live Zoom sessions. You have them together with me, so I can support you, and with all the other fantastic women in the apprenticeship. You can ask all your questions there as well. And then we have the monthly full moon rituals, so that you can let go of what no longer serves you. And we have the monthly new moon rituals to welcome in what you want to experience instead, to manifest whatever you want. So this is how it works. The transformation is part of the apprenticeship. It's my 8 months program, where you first dive deep with your self-care and self-healing, and then you go on to learn shamanic healing, right? How to help others with shamanic journeying. You will study extraction work. You will learn how to facilitate soul retrievals and power retrievals. You will learn how to hold rituals and how to create guided meditations, all of it. And then you receive holistic business coaching to make sure that your unique healing mission is palpable in your marketing, so that you will stand out and earn a great living from the start by implementing my soulful sales strategy, which is really not require you to be super tech savvy. You don't need to have a website even. You don't need to be present on 5 social media platforms, no Facebook ads. It is not overwhelming. It is really based on making human connections. So it's beautiful. So I'll teach you what really works so that you can focus on your healing work instead of chasing clients the whole day and make a great living. So here comes the beautiful announcement. The apprenticeship is closed at the moment, but I will reopen it soon for a period of 3 weeks. During those 3 weeks, you can join if you want to, from February 3rd to February 25th. And the most amazing thing is that everyone who joins gets to participate in the Goddess Initiation for free. This is a 2-week online retreat starting on the 27th of February, where we descend to meet the Dark Goddess so you can shed what no longer belongs and be initiated into your next level of purpose, power, and prosperity. It will be epic. It will be amazing. It's worth 1,111 euros. It's worth much more, but that's what it costs. And you will get it for free if you join during that period. And you will even get 2 extra weeks of time in the apprenticeship so that the retreat doesn't take away from it, but actually only adds to it. There is a catch, however. I only have 6 spaces in the apprenticeship for the February opening because 6 of my current apprentices are graduating next week. Charlotte is here right now. She is one of them. I'm so proud of you all. So I'm almost at full capacity, which is why I only have limited spaces. So there would not be a challenge this time. I'm not going to do a big launch because I really don't need it. I know many of you are already interested in joining. So all you need to do is fill out a little application and schedule a chat with me if you want to be considered. And I really don't know when I will be opening it again. So if you're serious about becoming a powerful healer with a business that pays the bills and you want it before 2021 is over, then get into my calendar now for one of the February slots during the opening so that we can have a chat, see where you're at, where you want to get to, and see if the apprenticeship is the right fit for you. You have the link in the description to schedule the chat. I'm popping it right here into the comments as well. And if you click on that link, you have all the info about the apprenticeship again. And at the bottom of the page, there's going to be a link to schedule a chat with me. Now, the period of chats only starts in February, right? But you need to schedule it because I have limited slots and limited spaces. So absolutely get your space. Hi, Chantal, welcome. Another one of my wonderful apprentices. How are you today? Renata saying, starting the apprenticeship has helped me to really stick to my daily self-care practice. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's obvious, right? When you have a clear plan right in front of you, when you have someone to hold your hand as you go through it, when you have someone to hold you accountable, makes it a lot easier. Good, so this is everything as far as input is concerned. I made it in an hour. I'm really proud of myself. I thought I was gonna be here for 2 hours. And I covered a lot of content. I hope this was really, really helpful for all of you. Let me know if you have any last minute questions. And yeah, I really hope that you have a lot more clarity now on what you actually need on all levels and how you can go about giving it to yourself. Renata saying, I'm so grateful that I joined the apprenticeship. I love it. And I love having you. It's wonderful. It's just the best thing for me to hear everything that's unfolding for you. Like if you go onto the website with the apprenticeship, you will see all the testimonials from all of the women who have joined the apprenticeship and everything that is shifting for them. And it's nothing short of miraculous. It is absolutely beautiful. But then again, it's not so surprising for me because shamanic yoga was absolutely channeled. I received this wonderful way of teaching shamanic journeyings with a combination with yoga and how to really, sorry, that was a lot of, someone was ringing the door, and how to really help women to get crystal clear on their healing mission and then to manifest it, to actually take it and be like, shine their light out into the world. And it just all came to me, and it was just what people needed. And that's why I've been so successful in what I do, because I listen to what's needed of me. And that's a big part of realizing your healing mission, is that you just say yes to serving in any way that you're meant to serve, right? And really diving deep with your soul purpose is going to make it crystal clear. I'm really happy to hear that it was helpful, what I shared with you today. If questions keep coming up for you, please absolutely pop them into the comments. Also for everyone on the replay, I look forward to catching up with you in the comments. And in the meantime, I'm sending you so much love. Bye for now, and I really look forward to chatting with some of you soon.